I'd like to add an addendum to the last video where we were talking about, animating this like sort of a card flip, right? So just so we get a kind of an interesting look at this to see exactly what's going on here, why don't we try changing the Z position of the two inner circles, like the front and the back element, right? So here I have the styles for the div, and this applies to both of them. Okay, so this is the front and the back. And why don't we use a transform translate, and we'll make them both, move them both, 10 pixels on the Z. Actually, I'm going to do translate Z. Okay, so the x-axis runs horizontally, the y-axis is vertical, and the z-axis is like the depth. It goes in or out of the screen. Okay, so we'll try that, and now you can see that the circle kind of like is on the face, but it kind of sits out from the face a little bit, right? The back circle actually kind of overwrites this Z property because we set transform here, but we didn't include the Z. So I'm going to take this and put it here, and then move this guy -10 pixels, right? So now we can see that the back side is a little bit out, right? Let's try and increase that number. What if I make this 20 pixels, right? And then there's a couple interesting things we can observe here, right? So you'll see, like, I can see the back side, but as soon as it gets around where we would be seeing the back of the circle, it disappears, and that's because the back face visibility is hidden. So you'll see if I comment this line out here, then now we can kind of actually, let me refresh it. Yeah. Actually, I think we should, oh wait, you know why? Because I need to also comment this one out. There we go, right? Okay, there we go, right? Oh yeah, so now you can see the back of the back and the back of the front as they spin around. So when we have them close together where they would be right on top of each other in exactly the same spot, then we'll only ever see one of them, and that would be the one that stacks here, right? But if we set the back face of this to be invisible, then we can see the other one when the back of this one would be facing us, right? So that's kind of interesting. The other thing is, actually, this is kind of an interesting situation where we can make stuff look 3D or give it depth, right? So using the Z value, right? And you could animate that too. So anyway, so I thought I'd just add that in on that last video, or kind of include this look here, right? So using Z, translate Z, we can move things back or forth on the, into or out of the screen. Realize also that when we're translating the Z depth here, we're doing it inside of the container element, and then this container element is spinning, and then it's preserving that 3D effect through this preserve 3D. If we turn that off, you can see that the back and the front get like kind of drawn or pasted onto the surface. You could think about it that way, like on the surface of this outer element, right? Because their 3D transformations are not preserved, right? So that was the use of this thing, right? So we need to have this on the parent to say, like, hey, all of our child elements are going to preserve their 3D, translations, right? So anyway, that was just a quick addendum to the last discussion.